Just no.
But I honestly, I'm going with Oldness Strikes on this one.
Yeah, I'm going with Oldness Strikes.
All right.
I'm predicting this is a best of 7, I do believe, right? I'm going to say 4-2 in favor of Oldness Strikes. That's my prediction.
Okay.
4-2 Oldness Strikes. Zico Supa, real quick before this gets started.
4-3 Oldness Strikes. I feel like Method always takes finals to Game 7.
That's
Windwalker
super
Mage.
true.
Who could have
I'm gonna
Game
go.
number 1. Go ahead, Zico.
I'm gonna go with. Actually, I'll get back to you after this, Aya.
Okay, I'm
rigging it. That's rigging it.
You can't just revoked your
It's not a
privileges.
prediction if you
Never
wait till
asked
it's
you for a
over.
prediction again. It is the Zico way. It is the Zico way. But anyways, game number 1 here. It is Method versus Oldness Strike in the European finals.
Ooh, and you know what? This is actually, you know what's interesting about this is actually the first Windwalker we've seen in Europe. It was definitely the flavor that Seafoam Green in North America yesterday, but this is the first time we've seen a Windwalker monk be played in this top 8 in Europe. So we'll see what they can get done. Ring of Frost unfortunately misses onto Nerd Rage, and it looks like Nerd Rage will be able to shut that down. If you don't get crowd control on the Warrior, just so effective at soaking up that damage with Intervene. Now Thessia once again is going to be on the run.
Yeah, and that was actually the Trinket Sanctuary as well from Kara. So they forced out one of the healer's trinkets. Now they need to try to force out the second one. The problem in this matchup is it's extremely hard to actually get that combust reset if you are the mage. So Tessia can be in a lot of trouble so far now. Waz setting up another setup here, potentially with the leg sweep. They get the Hammer of Justice, double blinding light, big damage here onto Tana. Beautiful setup. What? That is just a Windwalker one-shot with Zwen the Tiger. And just like I predicted, 4-0 here in the grand finals for Method.
All right. Listen, production, we need to mute this guy. This is ridiculous. I refuse to work alongside this professionalism. Go ahead, Sifa.
No, I was just gonna. I was just gonna say, I mean, that Method set that up so beautifully, but Oldness Strikes also really made a mistake. Kara using his Trinket Sanctuary, Waz didn't use anything. He didn't use Weapons of Order, he didn't use his Zwen, he didn't even commit images, and they just freaked out and panicked. And during that second go, Waz just popped everything and completely one-shot Tana. That was really well set up there by Method.
I feel like they freaked out a little bit about the combust, and honestly, I would have liked the Trinket Sank more if Nerd Rage was also CC'd by that ring, but since he wasn't, they maybe could have held it there. But the thing is, Combust is so strong right now, it's not that weird that they maybe overreact a little bit there in the start. I definitely feel like they underreacted though on this second setup. This was a super clean setup. They got the double blinding light, a completely isolated target there. Windwalker's popping all of his cooldowns there. You gotta just use Trinket Astral Shift there immediately, and when that stun hits you, if you are Tana, it's the only thing that's gonna keep him alive there. So I definitely feel like he under-responded there in the second setup. But the first setup, yeah, it was Combust. I think it's kind of a fair trade.
I also have to wonder, I mean, this is the European finals, like that first game doesn't really go quite the way that you wanted to. What kind of mindset that puts you in for the rest of the series then? I mean, how difficult is it to recover from a first game like that?
Well, they just played a grueling series as well, right? Like they played against Skill Cap to you. What was that, an hour-long series of them just having to survive getting one shot and then going into this game and just immediately dying instantly? I mean, it can't put you in the best frame of mind, but I mean, these guys are all kind of veterans at this point, competitors, so they just kind of have to shake off that loss, realize, okay, well, there's two scary threats, Combustion and Zwen, and I mean, they're both really scary, and that's really the power of that Windwalker Fire Mage, but you have to have a solid answer for both, because if you don't, either one of them can just one-shot you instantly, but if you're constantly responding perfectly, I do feel like they still have a really good shot against this composition.
So then would you like to see both of these, or at least Oldness Strikes, try that same thing again then, especially now that they have the map choice here?
I would say so. Yeah, go to a smaller map. I go to a smaller map either way. No matter what, their cleave setup is going to do better on a smaller map. So go to Hook Point and just run at the mage, no matter what method picks. Unless they don't pick a mage, and then don't do that. But yeah, small map for sure.
And, even though we saw Oldness Strikes on that last series as well, able to secure a victory against a Caster Cleave on a larger map too. So I feel like even though they did lose that first game against Method here, definitely have some room to recover. But Oldness Strikes will be choosing the map here. And if they were to do that all over again, Zigo, all on a smaller map, maybe like Hook Point or something, depending on what they lock in, what exactly do you want to see Oldness Strikes do differently? And then what setup would you like to see them try and pull off against Method as well?
Well, I feel like for Oldness Strikes, they're going to win if the game drags on for a long time. The Fire Mage has a really, really sick burst, but the consistent damage in between the combustions is pretty much non-existent. So it's all going to be about Oldness Strikes and their off healing and their burst damage as well. So they can take down the Windwalker, they can take down the Mage. The main thing for them is just survive these ghosts. It's kind of like you have one comp that's the aggressor and then one comp that's kind of the defender. And if the defender does their job good enough, they're going to be able to win against the aggressor. So for Oldness Strikes, they just got to shake that one off. I think Trinket Sanctuary is a good response to the first setup. Then the second setup, they got to use that Paladin, the Shaman Trinket maybe. And then on the third setup, maybe a Trinket War Banner from the Warrior or an Intervene, a Fear, something like that. And then you're going to have that Sanctuary again from that red. And you can kind of keep rotating your cooldowns indefinitely like that. And if they manage to do that, then they're going to be in a good spot. But Method, they look extremely hot in that first game. And we're going to have to see if they can repeat that setup that they just did in that first game.
Well, let's see if they can here. We see Thasia stunned up. They're trying to blast him down, but he deflects it with that Dragon's Breath. Tana getting set up on again. Here comes the Wazwalker, and it looks like Kara trinketed, but it was a bit of a bait go. No Zwen, no combustion, so they get the Ret Paladin's trinket, but here comes damage. Thasia, alter timing back, but getting crushed through it. Chaz trying to recover with that Avenging Wrath, big Divine Favor heal, but the damage isn't stopping. Thasia, soul shaping, back into the starting room. Line of sighting, getting back now to his Paladin. Waz getting swapped too, waiting for that Paralyze. Shifting power, getting that Meteor back off cooldown a little bit faster. Trying to combo that together. Maybe they're going to go after the Ret Paladin with no trinket. Interesting to see where they go here. Leg sweep not available. They need Hammer of Justice. Is Chaz going to get to Tana in time? Chaz is moving in. He's getting close, but Thasia's dipping low health. They blind Kara, paralyzed, triple crowd control. This could be an explosive area of time. They're trying to bait cooldowns. They're not popping combustion, but here comes the Zwen Tiger a little bit late on the setup to try and overwhelm them. Maybe a swap to Nerd Rage with no trinket. Leg sweep comes up in 3 seconds. They could eradicate the warrior in that leg sweep. I like that Oldness Strikes are rotating their trinkets, but Thasia has not committed combustion, and they're running out of medallions. Only one left.
Now they need to get crowd control in Kara for this next setup, and you can tell Tana is on the run. Kara gets the cross Hammer of Justice, and Thasia's in a lot of trouble right now. The sacrifice comes in, and Chaz is forced to use the trinket as well. So big damage coming out from Oldness Strike so far. They're rotating appropriately, and Tana has been able to hold on. They've got the Sanctuary back up. Tana has his trinket. Chaz almost getting taken down from sacrifice damage, and this is looking a lot more consistent here for Oldness Strikes. But still, Method, they have the combustion, and that is a massive amount of damage available. We'll have to see how Oldness Strikes can deflect.
Oh, Thasia going for the Dragon's Breath Ring, and this was another setup attempt here from Method, but Nerd Rage avoiding that setup. Here we go, Ring of Frost, Sheep. Let's see, do they have a Paralyze? They do have a Paralyze there onto Tana, but nothing onto Kara right now. They need to try to get something. They're actually swapping to Nerd Rage here. Combustor, big one shot, and he's gonna get destroyed in that swap there. What a beautiful setup there. But once again, I don't know actually. Tana was so far away there, expecting to be the target the entire time there, but they just went for Nerd Rage. He previously trinketed that setup. And Kara also staying in line of sight of Tana, completely expecting that to happen on his healer. And Method just switched it up there and completely destroy the warrior.
My gosh, we're seeing Oldness Strike struggle here. 2 games in a row, someone just insta going down. Is this a different team that we're seeing in this series than we did in the last one, Supatis? What exactly is happening here?
Well, they're just baiting goes now with the Windwalker. They're using the Storm, Earth, and Fire. trying to bait a trinket. They get it. They use Stormwrath and Fire again, bait a trinket, and they hold on to Combustion. They're spacing their cooldowns because each one of those could kill you 100-0. And so every stun, they commit one of those cooldowns and eventually run out of answers, or you anticipate yourself as the target, but you're not the target. Like Tana thinks he's going to be attacked right now. Waz is hitting him. He's been hitting him all series long. They paralyze him, but then Waz is like, nope, I'm hitting this warrior way over here. Leg sweep, Combustion, dead. You're not healing through that, even if you're Ret Paladin in that position. It's just so much damage. It was a perfect bait and switch. They definitely know what they're doing. They're not tunnel visioned onto anything, and that game proved it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Watts especially looking super solid on that Windwalker. A bit of an alt pickup for him, a little bit newer as well. We're just kind of starting to see him play. This is the first Windwalker of the day, I think, as well, that we've seen, and he's looking really good on it, Ven. Is this something that we think they're going to continue to play in this series as well as the rest of these cups?
Yeah, this is looking really solid from a Method right now. I have to say, I mean, they're making this composition look like it's like Rogue Mage with the way they're swapping around and baiting cooldowns, and so much of that is just a beautiful, I mean, communication, coordination, realizing who doesn't have their trinket, who they can kind of exploit, bait into the open, like Supiti says. They're basically just trying to isolate a target, combustion on it, especially if they don't have a trinket, they're just going to die. And I mean, the way they did that, there's no way you could read that situation. Like, Oldness strikes, they like, I don't know. If I was them, I would have done the same thing. Waz is just sitting on the Shaman with a paralyze. That's how we got globaled the game before. Chaz is rolling over, and then Waz just flying serpent kicks across the map, leg sweeps the warrior, completely out of the picture. And you can't blame them for that situation. That was just a beautiful display of coordination and teamwork by Method.
Yeah, it certainly was here. These first couple of games going very smoothly for Method. Oldness strikes on the back foot here, just insta-dying 2 games in a row. And I gotta wonder, especially like you guys were saying, against that last series against Skillcat, where it went pretty long there all the way to a game 5, lots of them going into dampening. They're probably feeling that struggle right now. Oldness strikes choosing their composition. We are going to be going to Hook Point. Method, not much of a surprise, locking in Fire Mage, Windwalker, as they are looking so solid on there. And Oldness strikes, they're running out of chances. I mean, this is a best of 7 series, so if they lose this next game, they are not quite out of it. But even if they win this match here, this next match, I just feel like this is going to be a difficult uphill battle for them, Zico.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, they're gonna have to essentially win 2 swing matches, but the good thing for Oldness Strikes is that they're playing the one comp essentially. I mean, they could tag in Nixie, but I find it a little bit unlikely to happen. So if they want to, they could do that. But for them, I think it's more about figuring out what they want to do in game. With that last game, though, I really don't know. Like, you can't really blame them for it. It's like, you got Tana, he's behind the pillar, he's trying to stay as far away as possible from that Fire Mage, knows that he's been the target, for pretty much all the previous setups so far. Kara, of course, staying in his line of sight, staying away from the mage so he doesn't get cross-crowd controlled, so he can heal Tana, dispel him from the stun and the swap. But Nerd Rage, he's left behind, in a sheep. He doesn't have Trinket. And yeah, it's just the perfect swap with that Meteor as well, not being soaked by anyone since they're so far away from each other. That little Swifty skateboard ramp as well, keeping, the Ret and the healer. They're keeping both healers essentially away from the warrior so they can't back him up with any word of glory or anything like that. And yeah, it's just a perfect situation there. On Nerd Rage, so I feel like they just got to shake that one off. The stars kind of aligned there for Method, and I don't know. I really don't know what they're like. They need to survive, but I don't know how they're going to be able to survive for that long. It feels like Method they're swapping to the perfect target. They're never overcommitting. They're never giving any openings for Oldness Strikes to do anything.
Yeah. And I feel like as well, back to kind of your point about keeping their cool here, I feel like a lot of the times in situations like this, it really is what separates like people from first and second place. A lot of the times, like the pros to the newcomers is like keeping calm under pressure, keeping their composure. So you see a lot of times teams sometimes will like break down under pressure like this, and we have no idea what's going on in their comms right now, but I can only hope that these guys are sticking to their gut here, staying together as a team, keeping keeping their composure, because we saw them turn it around in that last series against a super difficult opponent here, and they are down 2-0 in the European final spot. So we'll have to see if they can pull it off going into this next game here. Method also looking so strong, so it is certainly looking difficult for them. Supatis?
I kind of wonder if Skill Cap EU are kind of like biting their fingers, like, why didn't we do that? We could have played Windwalker Mage. Blizzo plays Windwalker. Like, I mean, Method's making it look so easy. It's practically every paralyzed, someone is going to die. I mean, that's every 30 seconds you have a chance of killing somebody. That's some pretty good odds, I think. So Windwalker Mage finally getting broken out here. This is the comp everyone was saying, like, this is such a good comp, but no one was playing it. But now here in the final round, Method kept it as the final boss, just like, we didn't need it, but here it is. This is our full power. And then Oldness strikes. So like, oh, okay. Well, what are we gonna do here? They go hook point. A smaller map makes sense so that they're not split up and they get caught out like they did on Blackrook. Seems like whenever they pick Blackrook, it backfires on them. I feel like they need to stop picking it. This
needs to be their new pocket pick, please. Ooh, the game started. All right, here we go. Game number 3. Method up 2-0 right now in this best of 7. Big combustion coming in. And this is the first time we've seen a combustion just not one-shot in this matchup. So Nerd Rage, Kara, Tana, they are able to hold on. Tessie is going to be just kiting around right now, likely to try to reset his combustion if he can. Let's see what Waz is going to be able to set up. Who doesn't have a trinket? Nerd Rage once again, as well as Kara, going to be exposed targets here. So we'll have to see how Method is going to look for those vulnerabilities and what crowd control they're going to set up to go after one of these targets.
So that was a double trinket on that Ring of Frost. So they kind of overlapped there. And now here we go. The next setup coming in. This has got to be Tana's trinket. He's the only one who can answer this. If he doesn't trinket, he's pretty much dead here. Nerdridge actually does come out of the CC, does get the intervene there, and he's able to keep him alive. The Zwen is rooted there alongside with the images. So Tana doing a pretty good job here, keeping himself alive. And now counter pressure here onto Tessia. Big damage coming in here. Tessia needs to be careful here. Chaz gonna Hammer of Justice. Doing an excellent job here by Tessia, keeping himself alive. That was a massive heal coming out of Chaz there, keeping Tessia nice and healthy here. Tessia now waiting for that double Ring of Frost, and here we go. Paralyzed, double Ring of Frost going to be secured, and Nerd Rage actually dodges it, gets the intervene once again, shuts down yet another setup. That was actually a scary moment there for Tana as well. Could have easily been his trinket, and now because they were able to do that, it looks like Kara and Nerdridge are going to be able to have their trinkets for that next Ring of Frost. So Kara should be able to trinket and save Tana on that next setup, but Nerdridge could get erased behind this pillar as well. They need to be extremely aware of who has the trinket and who doesn't, because Method definitely are.
Yeah, those medallions are very important. You can see them next to the class icon. Kara's is available 15 seconds. Nerd Rage is now available. So they've got a lot of options to trade. Leg sweep up in 20 seconds for Waz. That yellow icon below his health frame, that's his stun lock. That's when he's going to hold a target in place. A lot is going to happen when that's available. They're trying to force it here, but Thesha gets stunned first in that Stormbolt, caught in the Kyrian Spear Bastion. Will he survive? Nerd Rage laying in, but it looks like Chaz traded sacrifice. Kara swaps over to Chaz, trying to drop him, give him the 1-2 hit. Not able to take Chaz down. Obviously, a master healer here on that Holy Paladin. Is not going to get caught off guard. Thesha, combustion available. Where is he going to allocate it? Are they going to hold it the whole game as a threat, or are they just going to blast it through and try and overwhelm a target here on hook point? They're still waiting. Leg sweep was utilized there. It didn't actually net any medallions, so not a super high value leg sweep. Chaz is chasing Tana, looking for crowd control. Tana repositions away from Chaz. Thesha is getting shredded. Stun on Chaz. Thesha, this could be dire straits. Dragonsmith Polymorph on the Warrior, trying to stall, buying time. Triune Barrier, blinking away. Big shield there. Chaz is now chasing Kara, looking for a Hammer of Justice. Kara's running away from Chaz. Paladin after Paladin. Who are they going to go after? Maybe a Blinding Light on Kara, swap to Tana. I think they want to go after Tana. Waz is all over him, but there's no stun available. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to get too much here. Maybe they're just threatening it, but right now there is no real threat. It's Thesha in trouble. They block the Cauterize. Nice, they catch his blink, and he has to block the Shatter on the block. That was the best combo we've seen from Oldness Strikes, showing signs of life. Maybe enough to close the game out.
Yeah, this is looking a lot better. They get the Divine Shield, they get Ice Block, they get Cauterize, they get absolutely everything. Looking for a setup here. Tana once again with a preemptive Earthen Wall Totem. It will be Kara using his trinket and that Blessing of Sanctuary to free Tana from the stuns. And now Thessia is going to be in a little bit of trouble here. He's got no cheat death. Needs to be very careful. Chaz can't greet it. He's got a Blessing of Protection. If he gets caught into a stun, might need to just preemptively trade that out. Thessia just line of sighting, trying to just buy some time for Leg Sweep to get off cooldown, Storm, Earth, and Fire to get off cooldown, allow Waz to build up his damage just a little bit. And I don't actually mind if they go after Waz here. Especially if Thessia is going to be playing so safe. Finally back in combat, big triple fear comes in, and here it is, Avenging Wrath. Thessia is going to be in so much trouble. Alter time is up. He should be able to keep himself alive with that for just a little bit longer. The Spear of Bastion does come in. How is he going to avoid this damage? Full Stormbolt, no crowd control on Chaz just yet, but the sacrifice trades, just trying to keep Thessia alive for a little bit longer.
Beautiful trade there by Chaz, but he's running out of mana. He's running slowly out of cooldowns. Now they're swapping to him. No real defense there for Chaz. He gets the Blinding Light now. They're going after Kara, and I really like this swap here. Kara going to respect the damage there from the Fire Mage, immediately using his Divine Shield on 70% HP. Doesn't want to get destroyed by that Meteor, and now once again they're getting back onto target. Thessia now going to be the target of choice here. Tana has his Trinket. Tana has his Spirit Link as well. Kara has nothing, so the next time Kara's in trouble, they're going to need to make sure that either Nerdrage or Tana saves him with their own cooldowns. They have a lot of time to work with because Thessia just uses Combustion. There we go. Hammer of Justice onto Chaz. Bladestorm of Thessia. He's got nothing here. Nerdrage, look for the Fury. Potentially not going to have it for another 20 or so seconds. Thessia now, look at the setup here. We go. Here's the Spear. Chaz with the wings active. Should be able to heal through this, but Thessia taking so much damage from that Retribution Paladin, faking out the Wind Shear, trinketing the Stormbolt here, and they need to go. If they don't get aggressive here on the side of Method, Thessia's just gonna die, and there we go. They get the full setup now onto Kara. No Divine Shield. They knock him out of line of sight. Beautiful Ring of Peace. And Tana, though, sitting through the CC chain comfortably. There was no combustion there. Just a Zwan there from Waz, and that's not gonna be enough to take Kara down. And now Thessia needs to run. Chaz getting swapped through here as well. Big damage coming out. Nice disarm there from Waz. Should keep Chaz alive for a little bit. Thessia resetting his combustion here as Method look to get their next setup, and Oldness Strikes, they're not far away from just straight up winning this game here.
Yeah, Oldness Strikes are in a good position here on hook point. Deja in trouble. Big heals bombing in from Chaz. He's got a Blessing of Protection, but there's no Zwen. A Combustion comes up pretty soon. They need to net a kill basically now, can they? Nerdrage fears the attackers away, but he's still low on health. Tana's in a full polymorph. Kara has to substitute as the healer, proccing that final Reckoning, Avenging Wrath. His heals are going to be very big during Avenging Wrath, and I think he's going to stabilize. Waz is actually scared of him too, having to trade that Karma. Everyone is getting decimated on Method. They swap to Chaz. That could be it. He's got no Divine Shield. He does manage to slip away though. Nerdrage charges him. And Nerdrage and Tana are right on top of him. Kara's going after Chaz too. 10 seconds away. 12 seconds away. Can Chaz manage to escape here? Polymorphs come in from Thessia just in time. Kara not able to connect. Big Holy Light. Chaz back to full health. Waz is pretty fragile right now. So is Thessia. But at the same time, no trinket on Nerdrage. Tana drops the Spirit Link, but he's not inside of it. He isn't able to get there, but Ascendance does. Now they swap to Kara. Kara, Word of Glory, Word of Glory. Wake of Ashes, Word of Glory. Back to full health here. Both sides stabilized. That cost a lot of cooldowns on Oldness Strikes. They need to close this out, but Thessia actually has Ice Block again. Nerdrage is going to shatter it. They swap to Chaz for a moment, but the defense is kind of blown open here. They could kill Tana with Zwen and Leg Sweep, which are available in about less than 10 seconds. This is very scary for Oldness Strikes. Method look to move to match point.
Yeah, no question about it. Kara really has to use his trinket in the Sanctuary on that next setup, or it's going to be lights out for Tana. He's looking for a Ring of Frost. He's getting low. Keep in mind, still no Cauterize. He goes for the Dragon's Breath. Can he get the Polymorph? Full Polymorph lands. Kara's completely isolated. He uses his trinket Word of Glory on himself to keep himself alive. Beautiful, intimidating shout by Nerdrage. They're continuing the assault. They deflect that attack by Method, and now they're pushing forward to close it out. Thessia on the run. He's got mirror images up. A little bit of damage reduction by Kara, and Nerdrage trying to get there. Beautiful plays and maneuvering by Thessia to completely avoid that situation. Now looking for a polymorph once again. Kara completely isolated. Crowd control on Tana. That's a full polymorph. He's got a couple seconds left. He looks like he should be able to hold on. Doesn't want to greet it. Hopefully he realizes Divine Shield is off cooldown, and he will be able to hold on.
Excellent stuff there from Kara, but they're running low on cooldowns now. They got pretty much nothing, just the Blessing of Protection here potentially to work with. Tana could easily get erased as well if they choose to go after him. They could just paralyze Tana, get a Sheep onto Kara, Dragon's Breath onto Nerdrage, or a Blinding Light, Hammer of Justice, anything like that, and that could just be the game. But Nerdrage does have his Trinket and his Rallying Cry finally back on CD. They're going to Sheep Tana, they're going to Dragon's Breath Nerdrage, and they're going after Kara. He gets knocked behind the pillar. There's the Blessing of Protection, removing the stun. Kara gonna keep himself alive with his final defensive cooldown. Both of these healers going out of mana here. 27% dampening. Game has just flown by. Tessie has nothing though, and this could be the final push. Saved by the light procs. Shaz doing what he can. 10 seconds left on those wings. He has one Blessing of Protection to work with. One combustion here for Tessia. One shot, one opportunity. Let's see who goes down first. Is it going to be Kara? Is it going to be Waz? Who is going to go down here in these final seconds of the game, Sid?
I mean, it could be it. Waz is rolling, bobbing, weaving, dodging, ducking, and diving, but he could just be going down. Caught by the intimidating shot out of line of sight. Chaz wraps around the corner, bopping him at 10%. No shattering throw available. They need to top him, though. Rep Paladin can still hit the top. They paralyze Kara, but Wake of Ashes cracks Waz's skull. They're dropping the meteor. They're going after Kara. They have to close it out here and now, and they do it. They close it out. Nerdrage is trying to solo Waz. Chaz is totally out of mana, trying to take this to a cross kill, trying to catch up with that Ring of Pieces, denying the reconnect, and Nerdrage is going to tap out. Method moved to match point. That was Oldness Strike's best map, looking like their best situation, and they still didn't get it.
All right, you know what, Zico? If you get this prediction right with your 4-0 after the first game, I'm out of here, man. This is looking not good for Oldness Strikes here. Method 3-0, currently one game away from being our first champion of these Shadowlands Cup here. Here's the replay.
I just feel like... No, go ahead.
I was going to say, this is insane. I mean, Waz is just dancing with death. Transcendence behind the pillar. He barely holds on. He's rolling, just trying to avoid it. But while this is happening, I mean, they're trying to set up for that final kill. Waz just barely holds on, 20% health, gets the Blessing of Protection, still getting low. Paralyzes Kara, is the only one that could damage through the Blessing of Protection, uses the image, and this is where they just go for it. They turn the situation on its head, and it's one of those situations where Kara, he was so confident they were going to be able to take down Waz. You know, maybe not sure they had the Blessing of Protection, but Waz has no cooldowns left. He's so low health. He just decides to go for it and gets punished. Method is able to turn it around expertly, and they're up 3-0 in the series, just one away from claiming this first cup, and it is looking really, really solid for them. Honestly, I can't believe how well they're playing this composition.
Yeah, they are looking really clean on the side of Method. Oldness Strikes really close to getting knocked out of this tournament here, losing this European finals. Certainly not where they want to be, but Method, like you're saying, Ben, looking unstoppable right now. It's going to be Oldness Strikes map pick once again. However, we've seen, in this series already, they choose their map. They're supposed to play to their advantage, and they just can't quite pull it off. However, we've seen them pull off a miracle, pull off what seemed like the impossible in their last series against skill-capped EU, and they have more chances to try and turn this around. This is a best-of-7 series, so not over quite yet, but I just gotta believe that Oldness Strikes is not feeling so hot right now, Super D's.
Yeah, I mean, that was, if you were gonna beat that was on that map. So
yeah,
Dalaran, I guess, next, but then you're stacked up for triple leg sweeps. That could be pretty scary. Blackrock Hold backfired. Like, what are even the good maps left? Runes? I mean, I'm not just saying that, but
Blade's Edge.
Blade, yeah, I feel like that was.
Even with the Windwalker's gonna knock you down.
Ring of Pieces is really annoying.
Yeah.
And the problem with being in these situations as well, even if they do pick this next map and they win that game, then that's Method's turn to pick their map, and it's going to be completely optimal for them, and it's just going to be super difficult from here on out, especially when they start to run out of those smaller maps as we're seeing right now. But I don't know, Method looking really good on this composition. I don't really see them changing much to what they're doing, Venricky.
Definitely not. It was predicted by quite a few players that this was to be the composition that wins essentially both cups, I feel like, or both in North America and Europe. The Windwalker, Fire Mage, Paladin. You got the best healer, what some people would consider the best melee, and then what a lot of people would consider the best caster as well. You pair them together, very explosive, really durable. And I mean, you have to give it up to Method. I mean, they're playing this extremely well. If you don't play this composition extremely well, you're not going to be beating a team like Oldness Strikes playing the Retribution Warrior Shaman. It's not an easy matchup, but they're making it look easy, which is quite remarkable. I'm curious to see what map we're going to be going to. Probably Ruins of something small, I think. And I kind of wonder if they should turn their attention on Waz earlier on in the match. I mean, it does leave Essia open to reset his combustion, which is really scary, but maybe switching up their targeting. Something needs to be done. I mean, they could just try the same thing and just hope that they don't.
Ashermains.
Yeah, that's a bit surprising.
That is very surprising. I don't know.
Are they just gonna like pull out? All right. Sorry, go ahead, Zico.
I was just gonna say, I feel like in the first game it was like, yeah, okay, they under-responded. You know, it was a clean setup and they didn't use a trinket. You know, they popped all CDs. The guy deserves to die. The second game was a little bit more sketch. It was like, okay, well, you had 2 players out of line of sight. You didn't really expect that. You can kind of attribute that to just a really good swap, but also, you know, a big burst there. But in that third game, I feel like they played really well on the side of Oldness Strikes. Like, they rotated the defensives pretty much perfectly for up until 30% dampening, and they still couldn't finish. I think that's the biggest problem. They couldn't kill anybody on the side of Method. And I just feel like on Ashermains, that's going to be even harder. And eventually, one of these combusts is going to one-shot somebody if you can't close out the match fast enough. And I feel like on Ashermains, you're not going to be able to do that.
This is the point I make, and you guys don't ever agree with me when I say it, but I feel like they pick their enemy team's best map because they're just like, if we can't beat it, because they're going to have to play their best map 3 times in a row. They're like, if we can't beat it, we may as well just get it over with. Like, just pick their best map. That's a fair point. Try to get it. If you can't, you're gonna have to play it anyways. They've been playing all day. Like, they had to beat Skill Cap EU. They're probably tired. It's like, screw it. This is final boss mode. If we can't do it here, we're not gonna be able to do it. So let's just try.
I agree with you actually this time. I think that might be exactly what they're trying to do. Like, because there's no question about it. They have to win 4 in a row, and they're gonna have to play these big maps anyways. So if they can't do it now,
like, here you go.
Yeah, I mean, Method 1 away, putting on a really dominant display with this new roster, bringing Thessia as well as Zuniaki. They're looking really, really solid with Waz and Chaz, looking like an absolute force in Europe right now. And let's see, Waz and Thessia, who are they going to set up on? They've been really keeping Oldness Strikes guessing. Nice Stormbolt there by Nerd Rage. Immediate Stormbolt on that Dragon's Wrath. That was well done, stopping this initial assault from Method.
Yeah, and we're going to see them just retreat back to the pillar here. There's plenty of space to work with on Ashermain's fall. Now, they are going to be going after Waz a little bit more here. I do like that. Trying to keep him off of Tana here, but Waz just a Terminator right now, just waiting for his team to set up the incap. Right now, Blade Storm active from Nerd Rage. Thessia just going to try to drag him out, get the crowd control, and there we go. Beautiful setup here. Somebody's going to have to trinket something here. It's going to be Kara trinketing and using that Sanctuary right there. Overlapped a little bit with the wall there from Tana, but honestly, that was a clean meteor, so maybe it even would have been necessary there. Just been doing so much damage, and they are going to be able to escape just with that 1 CC breaker, though, from Mr. Kara. So very nice setup, but also a nice response here from Oldness Strikes. Now they're looking to get aggressive here. Nice Shadow Meld there on the Hex by Thessia, but he is going to get Hexed right there, and he does actually trinket out of it. There you go, double Dragon's Breath. Nerd Rage now going to be able to intervene this setup here, and they knock him out of the Earthen Wall Totem. Beautiful damage coming out from Waz, but that preemptive intervene from Nerd Rage, combined with that fear on Thessia's trinket, should be enough for Oldness Strikes to survive that setup as well.
Oh, Thessia taking a huge hit here. Chad's going to sacrifice redirect damage to himself. Stop it on Thessia, but it's a lot of damage. He's down to half. Cars chasing him. He repositions. I love Chaz's positioning. Oh, but actually Nerd Rage catches him. And Thessia is still low health. Waz is setting up on Tana. Leg sweep available. Polymorph cast. Dragon's Breath. Not able to get the follow-up polymorph on that, unfortunately. Now finally getting it. Paralyzing Kara. This could be devastating. Nerd Rage pre-intervenes, but will it be enough? Meteor hits. Big Fist of Fury damage flying in. Kara activating Shield of Vengeance. Big Word of Glory. Tana's out of poly. It's time to get aggressive. Chasing down Thessia. Big hit of damage. Huge hit of damage with that Shield of Vengeance breaking right when they comboed it. But not enough to get the cauterize, unfortunately. They were so close, but not enough. Now Chaz has time to recover. Waz looking like he wants to find a target. Who's he going to go after? Healing Thesha, waiting for that leg sweep. His Zwen coming up in 17. Combustion available. They could combo those together. They could drop someone out of nowhere, and it's match point. So that big threat could just overwhelm Oldness Strikes. They get a double spear here. Good value from that. Nerd Rage Stormbolts Thesha. I love the damage they're dealing right now. They actually get an ice block. Where's the shatter? Shattering throw. Breaks the block. Chaz, low health. Gets blinded up by blind on Akara. Tana trying to stabilize. This could be the trigger pulled. Meteor not going to combust. Trying to bait something here. No bait though. And Oldness Strikes keep a level head.
Yeah, they do. Was really trying to trick them there that he was going after Tana, but they kind of read the situation, and the damage really just wasn't there. I mean, Kara and Nerd Rage were stacked up. The Meteor really didn't hit that hard, but didn't commit any damage. So it was kind of a bait. No combustion used, no Zwen used. Here's a lag sweep. It looks like Tana will be able to get out of that with the Sanctuary. No cross on Kara as well, which means Oldness Strikes, all three of them have their Trinket, and this is looking not too bad for them. I mean, right now, all the defensives are available. Going after Tana just a little bit. Double Dragon's Breath. Let's see. This really doesn't have that much damage available. With no Ice Block, he's going to be feeling a little bit scared. Chaz luckily still has a Sacrifice, a Blessing of Protection if he does need it. Gets caught into a Hammer of Justice. Kara just going after him. Was throwing a ton of Vivifies in this game. Really just playing the Windwalker Monk for that big one-shot combo, and then just throwing off heals when he can. Here it is, big Meteor. Once again, Tana doing a great job with his preemptive Earthen Wall totems. Equally so, Waz denying it with the Ring of Peace, but the damage just hasn't been there for Method. That was a combustion, and I think Tana's going to be okay.
Yeah, Tana using his Trinket there in that exchange, and Waz is still going to have his Zwen the Tiger here, so Waz going to be the one who can one-shot in that next setup. They get a Polymorph onto Nerd Rage. There's the Paralyze. Chaz, do you have the Blinding Light? He gets it. This is going to be a big push here. Kara Trinket, Sanctuary, and he dispels Tana, but look at Waz cooldowns. He did not pull the trigger on that Zwen the Tiger, and that is going to be a nice victory there, actually, for Method. But now Tessia taking a lot of damage here. Nerd Rage finally going to connect. There it is. Freedom with the Soul Shape right there. The Night Fae coming clutch in for Tessia here. Going to be able to kite. And now Chaz going to be taking a few hits here. Sheep onto Kara. Potential swap there. Nice. Sheep into the Ring of Frost. Now Tana getting the intervene there from Nerd Rage. So Nerd Rage should be able to keep Tana alive in that push. They still have a window here of about a minute where either Tana or Kara can get blasted with damage, and either of them would have to use it, or a swap like that would force out the Divine Shield. Tessia still taking a lot of damage here. No ice, but for 2 minutes has his Cauterize here, and right now Waz just looking to play Goalkeeper here, keeping these guys off of his mage, and then making his way back to Tana to set up that next Paralyze double CC setup.
All right, let's see if they can set it up here. They've got all of the cards in their hand right now. Thesha under fire though with no ice block. And Oldness Strikes are putting the pressure here. There's the double. No Zwen. There's the Zwen combust. Big hit. Kara bubbled instantly. I've never seen someone react so fast to that. Nope. That was just a straight NOPE nope from Kara as those cooldowns get pulled. Despite playing such a long and brutal day, Kara is still on point, but maybe it doesn't matter. He's actually just dying after Divine Shield is over. Ascendance clutches through for Tana. Oldness Strikes stay in the fight, but they need to reverse sweep. Not just win this game, they have to win 3 more after it, all on Method's picks for maps. This is going to be devastating. 30 seconds away from Thesia's Ice Block being available again. Dampening stacking higher here. Thesha stunned up. Nerd Rage is trying to carry, dropping that Warbreaker avatar. Big combo of damage. Chaz going to Blessing of Protection it, but it looks like that Blessing of Protection was removed. Oh! Thesha in trouble, but a big heal comes through from Chaz with that Divine Toll. And now Waz attacking Tana. Tana pre-walls. Anticipating an attack. I don't think that was 100% necessary. There weren't any cooldowns available. He could be in a bit of trouble here. Leg sweep. Tana and Hodge. Triple crowd control. Beautiful setup. Meteor gets dropped, but intervened by Nerd Rage. Good defense by Nerd Rage. Nerd Rage now leaping onto offense. Thesha soul shaping, getting caught with the Storm Bolt. Nerd Rage is on fire right now, proccing that Cauterize. Sacrifice trades from Chaz. And despite this long day for Oldness Strikes, they are not getting weary.
No, not at all at this point. And there's no Zwen, there's no combustion for just a little bit longer. But Method's still going to have a huge opportunity. And Kara with no Divine Shield, I really am worried about him. Tana's going to have to keep him alive. There's the Paralyze. Double Dragon's Breath. Here we go. Big damage coming in from Method. They pull the trigger on everything. Nerd Rage getting low. And they manage to get everything from Tana. The Spirit Link totem drops. Die by the sword by Nerd Rage. They hold on and they want to continue this push onto Thessia. but he does have the ice block now, and they're not going to be happy about that one. Method is able to stall long enough. That's it, to hopefully get that ice block off, but with the Retribution Paladin, it's definitely dangerous. He gets low, gets topped off, forced to use the ice block. Immediate shattering throw there by Nerd Rage as they continue to make this push. Oldness Strikes, they want to put a point on the board. They do not want this to be a blowout, but who are they going after? Full polymorph on Tana. As Kara does get swapped. Does he have any healing? One Word of Glory. Nice War Stomp on the Fist of Fury. Double Dragon's Breath comes in, but there's no more crowd control on Tana. Oldness Strike should be able to recover, and this is such a back and forth game.
Very, very back and forth there. Kara actually has his bubble rotating up in about 2 minutes, so still plenty of time here for Method to set something up. Tana has his trinket, Nerdridge has his trinket, so they can potentially stop 2 more goes. Tessia, though, is the big vocal point here. He has nothing left. Nice fear here by Nerdridge in the middle of the setup, stopping another one, but that was his trinket. Now Tessia taking massive damage just with a big heal with that Divine Favor. He's going to keep Tessia alive, but he doesn't have much healing to work with here. Sheep comes out onto Tana. Kara in a lot of trouble here. He's gonna have to keep himself alive there with the Word of Glory spam. Was all over him here. Might be Tana's trinket here. Trying to greet it. Another sheep into the Dragon's Breath here potentially. Tessia gets it. Nice meteor. It's not gonna be hitting him though. And Kara now making his way back to his target. Tessia in so much trouble here. Chaz, what are you going to do? There we go. Wings comes out. Big Divine Favor comes out as well. Tessia getting topped off here, but now he's stunned once again. Could be another HP bar going down. Chaz realizing it and trading out the sacrifice. This game is looking like Oldness Strikes are finally going to be able to take a point on the board, but we don't know for sure yet. Chaz still has that Divine Shield, and they still have that combustion. They could take somebody down with it.
Big damage on Thesha. Let's see what he can get set up here. Reflected on his polymorph, looking for another attempt. Rebuke available. There's a lot of interrupts. Thesha being pressured, altering back. Sharpened Blade, though. Big Divine Toll, not winning that Judgment Lottery. He blinks the Spear Bastion. Nice play by Thesha. Tana and a Paralyzed, though. Oh, they break it early. No stun. Are they going to go for the stun lock here? Kara Sanctuary, is it getting sloppy towards the end of this game here at 30% dampening? I don't think they can afford that. Not many defensives remain. They're just trying to overwhelm Tana. Maybe just press Zwen and Combust and kill him with raw pressure at this point. He's so low on health, but Thesha is equally low. Chaz connects one big heal. Leg sweep DR. Are they really going to go on a DR leg sweep? They're going to pull the trigger on Zwen the Tiger. I don't think a 1 second leg sweep is enough, is it? Tana's just going to Astral Shift. He can get healed up by Kara. Is the Windwalker really going to kill Tana through Astral Shift? They're going to bop him. That's it. Thesha gets cracked. Oldness Strikes put a point on the board.
Yeah, I mean, Waz was going for it there, trying to pressure down Tana, but this is the kind of cooldown rotation what you want to see from a team like Oldness Strikes. They go to the large map, and that's a good map for Method as well, and they managed to just do a great job putting out pressure, staying alive. Nerd Rage as well, playing excellent defense for their team, and eventually Tessia does get taken down, and this is not going to be a 4-0.
Definitely not. Oldness Strikes making a comeback here. Things starting to turn around for them potentially, but now they're going to have a difficult climb if they want to win this series here. They cannot drop another game. They're 1 loss away from losing this series, but Oldness Strikes looking super solid in that last game, and just like Ben was saying, on the larger map here. So now it's going to be Method's map choice here, and we've seen what they can do on a larger map like Ashmane's, but here is that replay.
Yeah, so here, once again, they're trying to do that setup. They don't get the Ring of Frost here, and that's because of Kara's freedom onto Nerdridge. Kara's just been playing excellent support, excellently positioning back and forth. And this is the moment where, Method are getting a little sloppy here. Waz looking for the double leg sweep here, potentially, onto Kara and Tana, but I'm pretty sure it's DR right there, and he doesn't get it onto Kara. They get the Blinding Light. Kara trinkets out of that, gets the Hodge, Chaz bubbles that, and here comes the damage. No sacrifice, no blessing of protection. And that's what happens to a mage when you don't have those paladin cooldowns with you and you're tanking a ret and a warrior. The egg is going to get procced and cracked, and that is finally going to be a point on the board for Oldness Strikes.
Indeed it is. This is the first time in this series Method has lost a game, and now it's going to be their map choice here. Supatis, what do you think their next move is?
Empyrean Domain, probably Tolvaron. Those are likely, and then after that, if they lose, I mean, where do they go after that? It's pretty tough. It just seems like they were getting more sloppy. They were very tactical in the games that they won, and they knew exactly when they wanted to use stuff, and they were using it. Whereas in the last 5 minutes of this game, it was like they were shoving stuff and not trying to like line up perfect moments, and it just didn't work out as tactically as it had in the past games because it wasn't as organized. So if they just reorganize themselves, I think they can still take this here, especially with their map picks. They could change comp if they need to, but I mean, they only have Shadow Priest Mage. I don't think we're gonna want to see Zuniaki into Ret Warrior after watching Valet. I feel like Shadow Priest is probably not gonna have a great time. They pretty much have to rely on this, I think, to be able to take it.
Isn't that what they used to win their series yesterday, though? When they played against Reload? Pretty sure they used the Shadow Priest Mage to beat Reload.
It was close, though. Was it as
close
close as
if
the
you go to
Windwalker Mage?
If you go to Tolvaron, maybe it makes it less close. I mean, it seems like to me, as these games goes on, Oldness Strikes is getting more and more comfortable in the matchup. Like every game is looking a little bit less convincing from Method. Game number 3 was like, you really got the feeling Method was going to lose, and then they managed to pull out a miracle kill, a little dicey. And then game number 4, honestly, that was all Oldness Strikes. I mean, they looked great from start to finish, denying all the setups. So maybe Method wants to keep them guessing just a little bit, bring in Zuniaki on that Shadow Priest, play the Fire Mage, or they could just keep going with this comp and see how it goes.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they decide here as they go through this draft process here. Definitely interested to see exactly what they have in store for Oldness Strike. Like Ven was saying, like, do they switch it up or did they keep doing what they've been doing throughout this series? They were looking pretty solid on that Fire Mage Windwalker in the beginning of this, but Oldness Strikes looks like they're starting to starting to come around, figure things out here. And, you know, like you guys were saying, they're going to have to win 4 games in a row. They've done one, and they had that really long series ahead of them as well before this. So they've been playing for quite some time, which sometimes can be good, Zico, and sometimes it can be bad. I mean, you know, they're nice and warmed up, but I feel like at this point, do you think that fatigue is kind of setting in, or they're just kind of finding their swing now?
Well, I feel like fatigue was probably setting in, but you know, they kept going, and I feel like momentum is a very big thing. Like once you start picking up those wins, all of a sudden you're getting a little bit more excited, you're getting a little bit more ready. Zuen is being summoned in the background, you know, here on the desk, and you can see, you know, everybody's just excited, and they're carrying that momentum forward here for these games.
Yeah, sorry I jumped. I think something got knocked over by one of my cats back there. But yeah, it looks like we are going to be locking in Tiger's Peak both compositions here on the board. Method's map choice. How are we liking this one, Supatis?
I think it's still a good pick. If it starts to be noticeable that it's not working, then you could try Zuniaki. You've got a lot of games to work with, right? You almost have technically like throwaway games if you really wanted to. So here, just stick with this, keep it going. It worked really well when it worked, so just clean it up and repeat the same. Tiger's Peak, a good open map, still has good line of sight points for Waz if he needs to kite with Portal or Thasia to bait targets away. Not really upset. I'm not personally upset with the pick, and it still leaves Tolvaron open for Shadow Priest in the future as well. So I think this is a good plan strategy-wise overall in the series from Method. Just cleaning up the cooldown commitments, trying to catch them off guard, and just blow them up. That's basically what they're going to need to do here. Oldness Strikes got to be on point with their defense for 3 more games, and this could be 10 minute, 10 minute, 10 minutes. So can you keep it up that long? Any mistakes, slip up, it's over.
Okay, game number 5 here. Method on match point. Oldness Strikes, though, finding their stride, potentially could turn this around in their favor. It's Method versus Oldness Strikes, 3-1.
Yeah, let's see here. Gates are now open. Method on match point. They just need one more to close this series out. Let's see if they can do it. Looks like was positioning a little bit further back right now. We'll have to see who they decide to set up. It's all about setting up those 3 versus 1 situations. And in the first couple of games, SEO was able to get off the double Dragon's Breath, double Ring of Frost, or Polymorph. Really shut down Nerd Rage and Kara with that crowd control. Let's see how they do it. Paralyzed on Kara. They're just trying to keep Desi alive right now, playing a little bit more defensive. Double Dragon's Breath comes in. Can they get the Polymorph? Unfortunately, not able to find it. Sanctuary immediately coming out there by Kara. Sid. That was nicely done to deny that life sweep.
Yeah, definitely was. Let's see if they can keep it up here. Tana just on the back line trying to get away from Waz. And Chaz and Thasia are repositioning. They're actually attacking Waz a lot more here. Cleaving him down. He rolls in. Could be a bit reckless. Chaz is there to support, but double stun combo. Love to see it from Oldness strikes, but Triune Barrier activates for Thasia. Big shield while Chaz crowd control. Chaz rolls up, hammers down, Meteor flying in. Nerd Rage double fear, peeling away the Zwen Tiger. Earth grab on it. Thasia now in trouble. Chaz was feared as well. Wincher on Thasia's cast. Waz is going after Tana still with that Zwen the Tiger. Nerd Rage pulls back to try and help, but he's actually just getting AoE'd. I'm not sure if Nerd Rage actually wants to be here. It's not really helping. Tana's like, get away. I can't heal both of us. Pops Ascendants, roots the Zwen once again. I love those Earth Grab totems on the Zwen Tiger. Tana is definitely stepping up.
Yeah, doing a great job, and I think that intimidating shout on all the Windwalker Monks cooldowns, really important. When you see Weapons of Order, you see Zwen, that's when the Windwalker Monk televises he is about to go. If you can save that intimidating shout, you can save the roots from the Shaman. Really, really effective at shutting down that damage. That's here right now. Still, no Gladiator's Medallion. Going to be pressured if he does get caught into a stun, but Chaz still looking nice and healthy in terms of his defensive cooldowns. If you look right now, Kara has no trinket and Tana has no trinket. This is a perfect opportunity for Method to try to set something up. Nerd Rage is going to have to be the hero and save the day. Blessing of Protection does land on Tana, and that was nicely done. It was the Hammer of Justice. All they really got there was the Blessing of Protection. I mean, that's a great trade for Oldness Strikes.
Yeah, Combustion for a Blessing of Protection. They're going to take that any day of the week, and they have an opportunity here on the side of Method to force out that big Divine Shield of Kara. They need to get a perfect setup here onto Tana or Kara to set that up. The sacrifice comes out from Chaz, and here we go. This is the setup. Let's see what they get done. The Dragon's Breath breaks on Nerd Rage, and that means this setup is most likely to be botched right here, unless they can fish for a sheep onto Tana and stun up Kara. I don't think they're going to get anything here. They go for the Paralyzed. They get the sheep onto Kara. Nerd Rage is there disrupting the setup. Big damage coming in, but it's not going to result to anything because of that intervene right there. And most of that is because of the fact that that Dragon's Breath broke for Tessia there. So now, all of a sudden, Kara's trinket is rotating back up, and they're going to have that, and they're going to need to force that again, force Tana's trinket again, and then they have that opportunity to force the bubble.
Let's see if they can work their way through all of these cooldowns. It's going to be a long road. Kara getting caught in a ring. Waz laying into Tana. Popping that Zwen. Really taking it to him. Where's that Earth Grab totem onto the Zwen? Not seeing it here. That Zwen is getting a lot of uptime on Tana. Waz is still chasing him down. Whirling Dragon Punch. Pyro off to the side. Rising Sun Kick. Another Pyro off to the side. But there's that Earth Grab catching Waz. He Tiger's Lust, but Thasia is falling behind. He's taking so much damage right now. Are they? Oh, that spear was MVP. They proc the Cauterize. They go for the hammer anyway. They're trying to take down Tana here. At least get a medallion, but they're not finding it. Rally comes through for Nerd Rage, and Oldness Strikes are looking like a completely different beast in this series now.
Oh, they really are. I mean, this is the kind of rotation you really want to see. Waz is having a lot more difficult time setting something up, and they're just reading it. I mean, Method really kept them guessing the first couple of games, but now that they've been experienced to those swaps, I feel like they know what to do, and this is looking really good. They get the Cauterize from Tessia, and that... honestly, I feel like I'd rather have Cauterize than Ice Block, but a big Combustion comes in here from Tessia. What is he going to be able to get done? And it's really not much. I mean, they get the Astral Shift from Tana, but I guess I got the Trinket from Kara as well, so getting the cooldowns that they need to. Tessia's on the run now. They're all over him with that Soul Shape, but that Soul Shape plus Blessing of Freedom is... You're not going to keep up with that. There's just no way. The only way you can is Spear Bastion. They actually swap over to Chaz, trying to punish him. With Tessia running through him, he's a great target to just go after. Ring of Peace gets used. Double Blinding Light comes in onto Tana, onto Kara. Hammer of Justice lands onto Tana. Do they have the damage to actually take him down? Once again, beautiful intimidating shout. And now it is Chaz on the back foot.
Chaz almost gets global out of that fear. Nice setup there by Nerd Rage, trying to take down the healer right now, trying to force that Divine Shield. Chaz still not out of the woods yet. That's getting cross-kicked there by Kara. Excellently done there. And now Chaz sitting down for a drink in the middle of everything. And Tessia is going to get a sheep here onto Kara, swapping it over to Tana. That means they're going to go after Kara here. Where is the banner? Where is the intervene? Finally, Nerd Rage drops that intervene. They don't get a resheep. Actually, they do get a resheep, but at this point, the go is over. They don't don't force anything. Once again, Nerd Rage shutting it down here, getting back on his target. Double Dragon's Breath, but now they're going for a swap back onto Tana. Beautiful setup, and Tana's going to respect it with the trinket, with the Ascendance right there, keeping himself alive, nice and healthy. Now, all of a sudden, the game is wide open. They have a 30 seconds-ish window to force out Kara's bubble with a setup onto either Tana or onto Kara, but Nerd Rage also has his trinket, could stall that out and reset the game if he wants to. Let's see what they can do. Oh my goodness, Waz almost soloing Tana here, but Tana playing it patiently, playing it greedy, holding on to that Astral Shift. Very nice stuff here from both of these players. Tana still running around the pillar here, trying to get to safety. And now Tessia is the one doing a lot of trouble here. Uses the Shadow Melt, uses the Triune Barrier, Double Dragon's Breath, gets the Sheep. Now who is he going to go after? They go after Tana. Nerd Rage is free. They could just intervene and stop the setup in its tracks. And Kara dispelling it with that Sanctuary means that they are going to be completely fine here. And now Tessia once again on the run.
Really good disruption here from Oldness. Strike, stun on Thasia, Nerd Rage going into battle stance, tearing in with a ton of damage. Tana backing him up with Lava Bursts as well. Thasia can activate that Triune Barrier. Chaz still crowd controlled. Kara is looking to reconnect. If he makes it there, it could be scary. Mirror Images, Alter Time. Thasia going back. Tana the target though. Meteor Combust, big hit onto Tana. Are they ready for it? Avenging Wrath, big heals coming in from Kara. In good support, they survive the combustion. Great timing by Oldness. Strikes. Waz still needs to make something happen with that Zwen, but it's looking like this is just a brick wall, and suddenly Oldness Strikes makes this composition look like it's its counter. Very interesting series to say nonetheless, as Method and Skill Cap to You were looking to be like the favorites. Oldness Strikes comes out of nowhere, takes out Skill Cap to You, comes into the finals. They're down 3 points, and now they're looking like they could reverse sweep Method. This is absolutely insane. Kara locked down in a stun. Waz porting away from the fight, avoiding the damage, but there's the Divine Toll connecting onto Thasia. Chaz sacrifices immediately. Chaz rolls up onto Tana. Hammers down. 2 seconds away. 1 second away from the trinket. Will Tana survive? Meteor comes in, and it looks like Tana will survive that pre-Healing Tide totem, the Earthen Wall totem. The timing from Tana is excellent.
It certainly is. Tessia on the run once again, and Oldness Strikes are just trying to find their opportunity. I mean, they've gotten close on Waz a few times, so maybe switching their targeting up here a little bit. Tana's actually burning through his mana. Waz is just all over him with that Zwen. Big leg sweep. Can they take him down? Are they just going to kill him with raw damage? It is going to be the Spiritling Totem. It's going to be the Rallying Cry. It's going to be the Sanctuary. They freaked out. They panicked. This is the first time Method has been able to cause a panic in this map, and we'll have to see how that ends up playing out. I mean, you still have a trinket and Astral Shift, so Oldness Strike still has tools to work with. Combustion gets used. It's a random combustion here over on a Nerd Rage. Can they take him down? We're at 21% dampening. Just do damage, I suppose. They're literally just trying to him, and he gets taken down. Astral Shift comes out, but the Touch of Death completely nails it. Method managing to go 4-1 in this series, and they will be the finals victory, or finals winner.
That was just an insane amount of damage there at the end. They just reset the combust, and Tessia is like, you know what, we don't need setups anymore. We forced out the link. We're just gonna brute force this one with damage, and surprisingly enough, it works out for him. There wasn't really any real setup there.